Hi Joe, and welcome to Camden Town Radio.
Thank you so much for having me.
And we're looking forward to your upcoming show at the Pizza Express on Monday.
I know. Do you know, I'm so excited. I love doing these shows because it's a chance to kind of sing songs that I don't normally sing.
Yes.
So, obviously everybody knows me from S Club 7, and
that's right.
There's always a little bit of that in the set, but we try and change it up and do different variations, different versions of the S Club songs. And and I also get to sing some of the stuff that I've written as well, and some good covers. It's just a really fun show. I just love doing them.
Yes, and I believe it's a sellout as well on Monday.
It is, I know, and I'm so grateful because, I think coming from a pop group, it's really hard to sort of venture out by yourself, but the support that I'm being shown is just amazing. So I'm very, very lucky, very grateful.
Yes, it's at the Pizza Express Holborn, and you've played at that one before?
Yes, I have. I played it once before. I've done the Pizza Express in Holborn, I've done the one in Birmingham.
Yes.
But the venue is just so intimate and so lovely, and the sound and the acoustics and everything is just perfect for exactly what I'm doing, and the bands that I go out with, they're just fantastic. So yeah, I'm very excited.
Yes. Now, the musicians you'll be with, is that a band you've been with for a while, or?
Yeah, but doing these gigs, I've got Simply Red's guitarist and Kylie Minogue's pianist, and then I've got a percussionist as well. So it's just the three of them.
Yes.
But the sound that they create when they're working together is just phenomenal. So it's going to be a really, really good show. Yes,
I guess it's great when you've got a good band, because that's one less thing to worry about on the evening. You know that they're going to be all in sync with each other.
Exactly, and the thing I do love about working with a live band is you can sort of stop and start when you please. You're not restricted to track, which is, I think sometimes when you're working to a track, you're very restricted as to what you can actually do.
Yes.
So it's always fun to go out and never really know what's going to happen on the night, in a way.
That's right. Well, that was very much the philosophy of Den Jericho last night. They said they like to get the spontaneity on the evening of not quite knowing what's going to happen.
Exactly. It kind of keeps it fun, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's right, yes. Now, we'll just go a quick review, really, of how you got to this point, because obviously you were in S Club 7. And I was actually quite surprised when I read that the band was only together for 4 years, because you tend to think of it having been together for about 10 years or even more.
Yeah,
but,
it sometimes felt like that, though, believe me.
You've reformed a bit since then, but yes, the core years were just 4 between 1999 and 2003, wasn't it?
Exactly. We done a lot of stuff in that time.
Yes, it must have been quite a whirlwind to...
yeah, it was.
Yes, and I imagine that after that did come to an end, it must have been quite difficult, with it having been such a busy period, to then be going into a different phase. That must have been quite a difficult adjustment.
It was so weird because, and I've spoken about this before, I think when we done that last show and there was no longer an itinerary to look at, because our workload was sort of like mapped out for a good year ahead. So when you sort of turn the page and it was blank, it was a bit like you don't really know what to do with yourself. I mean, it was quite nice in a way to catch up on some sleep.
Yes.
Because we didn't do a lot of that, because we was always travelling, working and filming and doing photo shoots and God knows what else. And then obviously I wanted to sort of, my heart has always been with the music, so I was never going to do anything else. It would never have been an option for me.
Yes. So the singing is your first love.
It's just in me.
Yes.
It's just something that makes me feel who I'm supposed to be. When I'm on stage and I'm singing songs, and especially when I've written songs and then I get to perform them, there's no greater feeling than that, really. And it's taken me a long time to sort of get to that point, because I was never very confident with my songwriting. No, and I was like kind of embarrassed about it. So I never really sort of ventured much more into it. But
I was just going to say, in the S Club days, did you get to songwrite at that time, or is it only afterwards, really?
It was really afterwards, and and I didn't do it for a lot of years after the band either. I'd say the majority of it has come from the lockdown, to be honest.
Yes.
And I used that time to sort of really focus on what I wanted to do and
Yes.
what I needed to do to be happy, and it was to get back in the studio and write. And and it's just taken off into a direction that's made me just feel so happy because I'm doing what I love, and it's like I'm a brand new artist all over again.
Yes. Well, I think it's good that artists do go in different directions and, you know, have reinventions and things. I think it's, you know, because you go through different phases. I mean, you mentioned linked to Carly there with having one of her musicians, and she's certainly somebody who has reinvented herself in different ways. So I think it's good to be doing what you're into at the time. And
yeah, it is. It's always good to sort of just try new stuff and go in different directions and to find what fits, you know. And I've found that what fits with me is just doing a little bit of everything. Like on my album that I released late last year, there's some R&B on there. There's a big country ballad. There's some just big pale ballads, some dancey stuff.
Yes.
So, you know, it's quite nice to sort of not stick myself into the ballad box because I know that I'm very well known for doing like big pale ballads, but it's nice to play around with different genres and styles of music, and country music is another big love of mine too.
Okay, actually, speaking of that, we did read that. Is it the case that you years ago before S Club 7 you had some experience working in an American themed bar where you got to sing as well? Is that?
I did, yeah. It's actually where I was discovered for S Club 7. It was actually a country and western restaurant.
Oh, right.
And it was country themed restaurant. So you sort of like wait the tables, and then in between serving the tables, you know, you jump up and sing a song.
Oh, okay.
And so it was really good fun. Actually, it was really good. And Kelly LaRock actually worked at the same restaurant as me. So yeah, it was some good times.
Yes, I mean it's things like that are a very good experience in the early days to sort of get you used to singing in front of an audience. And
well, it's just all part of your apprenticeship, I think.
Right.
I mean, I've been on stage since I was 13, really. You know,
yes.
I used to do a lot of talent competitions and open mic nights, and
yes.
You know, so I learned from a very young age to get booed, and I learned from a very young age to sort of like get a clap too. So
yes.
Yeah, I've definitely been around the block.
Yes, but I think you've maybe summed up there maybe why some artists today find it more difficult, because, you know, with the talent shows, it's kind of almost overnight success, and then they're not used to those aspects that we mentioned there, such as, you know, getting used to a live audience and different reactions. So yeah, that's maybe makes it harder for artists not going through that route. It's no,
I mean, I used to do like the working man clubs,
yeah,
you know, and
right.
the guys are not interested in listening to a word you're singing about. They just would rather be, you know, playing cards or whatever it is that they do in the working men's club. But it's just all part of building up your, you know, your artistry, I suppose.
Right. Yes, which I think singers don't get as much of a chance today to sort of learn their trade.
No,
in
exactly, and it's sad because, you know, there's not many sort of places that you can really do that anymore.
No, I guess there's not. No, it's harder to find. You're right. The places that you can learn your craft at.
Yeah, I mean, because a lot of these young and, you know, up and coming artists now, you know, they sort of get there by posting videos onto YouTube that they've sat in their bedroom. They've not actually physically gone out to an empty pub or empty bar and done it, you know, which is a bit of a shame, because I think that's where you really learn your craft.
Now, in terms of shows coming up, you've obviously got the Pizza Express show on Monday. I believe you've got a festival coming up at Yorkshire Wildlife Park on the 6th of August.
On the 6th of August, I'm doing that one, which I'm really excited about, because the guys at the Yorkshire Wildlife Park are like really close friends of mine now. We've sort of known each other for years and years. So, yeah, I'm excited to do that one with Rebecca Ferguson and Pixie Lott. That's going to be a night for the ladies.
Yes, it's listed as an evening of girl power. Are men allowed in as well? Or?
Oh, yes, of course. We'll let them in.
Yes. Now, speaking of wildlife, I believe you are quite an animal lover, is that right? Well, when I say that, I mean, I should rephrase that maybe and say you do like animals.
I love all animals, and I recently became the third canine angel, which is just amazing. So I think to be able to get involved with such a wonderful charity to try and rescue, you know, as many dogs that need our help as what we can.
Yes.
You know, going over to different countries and getting, you know, the street dogs neutered, and just you know, and sillily enough, I've accepted a wing walk challenge, which I will be doing on the 14th of August, which I'm so scared about because I don't like heights, but I do like dogs. So I'm going to just take all my fear and leave it on the plain wing. So I have got links up. People can come and sponsor me. And the nice thing is, every single penny that I manage to raise, 100% of it will be going straight into rescuing these dogs.
Oh,
so,
it's
it'd be amazing if everyone could get behind it.
And it's a charity close to your heart by the sound of it.
Yeah, yes. It is, because I think sometimes you've just got to be the voice for the voiceless, haven't you? So, yes. I'm always there to help.
Yes. Do you have pets yourself, or...?
I do, yeah. I've got some rescues myself, so I know what it's like to rescue. I've got 2 rescue dogs. My friend has got a rescued horse, and then we've got the rescued cat.
Oh, right. So
big house of animal rescuers.
Yes. That's a very good cause. I mean, I've heard people say before that if you're thinking of getting a pet, it's a great way is to go to an animal rescue shelter and choose one.
Always.
There.
You know, I think if you can give a home to a little dog that's been, you know, really mistreated and deserves a second chance, then always go to your local rescue centre, and you know, you'll always find someone that you're going to fall in love with and that's meant to be for you. So adopt, don't shop. That's what I say.
In terms of shows, would you say, are you, because obviously you've kind of done the whole spectrum really. You've done, you know, arena tours with S Club 7, you've done small intimate events, you've done maybe what would people call medium-sized events. So do you have an environment or a type of show that you're most comfortable performing at?
I think when I'm on stage, you know, I'm comfortable anywhere, but the ones that I really love the most are the like what I'm doing tomorrow. You know, what I'm doing. I do love like the more intimate shows because you can really sort of like feel the atmosphere. You're up close and personal with the people that have, you know, bought a ticket to come and see you perform. You can reach out and touch them, and I like that. Yes. You know, I always try and make my shows very personable. So, yeah, I'd say the more intimate gigs I do like more. Like, especially with Picture Express in Holborn, you're really all in it together. Yes. So it's like a real team effort.
That makes sense, yes. And you do the meet and greet experiences as well, so you do get to speak to the fans.
Exactly.
In person.
Yeah, and you know, and I always try and stay around for, you know, half an hour or so, or an hour after the shows as well, just to say thank you and to meet everybody that I didn't get to meet in the VIP bit, because you know, the VIP sold out like in less than an hour this time, and there were so many people that wanted to have the meet and greet experience, so why should they go without just because they missed out on a ticket? So I like to go and say hi to everyone.
I wonder, actually, I mean, we touched on this earlier, with it's quite difficult for singers starting out today, but what advice would you have for singers who are trying to get started now? What would you...
I think you've got to really believe in yourself. You do. You have to really believe, and be expected to take a lot of knocks, because you get a lot of no's in this industry, and it's, you know, only the strong survive it, because it can really put you off, and it can really knock your confidence. But I think if you really believe in yourself, and you believe what you're putting out there is good, you've got to just keep fighting and keep going, and you do really have to dedicate your whole life to it, because it is a lifestyle. Yes. You know, music isn't a hobby, and it isn't a weekend job. It's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you want it that much, you know, you've got to be prepared to put the work in and believe in yourself.
We know that you can sing in a number of different styles, and at times your voice has been compared to Karen Carpenter, and we have heard some Carpenter covers that you do. And I believe at one time, I don't know if you did actually start the album, but we're going to be doing an album with Richard Carpenter. Is that right?
This was something that happened like many years ago. But Richard Carpenter actually heard my voice because we had a hit over in America. Yes. with Never Had a Dream Come True, and he approached for me to do some of the songs that Karen sadly never got to do, but because I was contracted to be S Club 7, I couldn't do it, which is something I'm so upset about, because obviously getting to work with Richard Carpenter would have been pretty amazing.
Yes. But I guess it's nice feedback to get though from him that he
absolutely 100%. Yeah, I'm very, very lucky. Yes, it was a bit of a pinch me moment.
Yes,
to be honest.
do you have any Carpenters covers in your set at all? Or?
Do I have one in there tomorrow? Not tomorrow. I don't think I do.
Okay.
I didn't do that this time. No, I'm doing a little bit of Aretha Franklin tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to change it up again. Yeah. I like to change things around, because I did Carpenters last time. So every time I'm sort of like going out and I'm doing a show, I always want the show to be slightly different. Otherwise, people will just be buying a ticket to watch the same show that they've just watched.
Okay. Yes.
So I try and keep it fresh and keep things changed. Yeah. Obviously, there's some signature songs in there that I have to say, like Never Had a Dream Come True, 2 in a Million, S Club ones. I'm
sure a question that you always get asked is, are there any plans for, because I believe S Club 7, they've reformed, and then you did also do a project called S Club 3 with just 3 of you.
Yeah.
Are there any plans for either of those? I guess it's a lot of people, 7, isn't it, to get together at the same time?
This is the thing, yeah. This is like the $1 million question. I'm asked it every single day. Is there going to be an S Club reunion? The answer in short is I don't know. I really don't know. I think if the timing was right and, you could get the 7 of us physically in the same room, I would definitely be up for doing it. But, everyone's so busy.
That's right.
And everyone's got so many different things going on. So, who knows? You never know what's going to happen in the future.
Yes, but it must be very hard, because I know even with bands that are 3 or 4 members, it's very hard to get them in the same place. So, with 7, it's...
Exactly. It's sometimes near on impossible. Sometimes it was hard to get the 7 of us in the same room when we were 7.
Yes.
There'd always be one off shopping or one's off doing this. So it's not that easy, but
yes,
I think if it's meant to happen, it will happen.
Yes. Do you think that was maybe a factor in that the band for the first time was only together for 4 years? Do you think that was a factor, the fact that there were 7 of you and it was very difficult to get everybody together at the same time? Do you think that was maybe a factor in it?
And why we broke up?
Yes, originally. Was that, do you think?
No, I don't think it was that. I think we split because we pretty much achieved everything that we'd set out to do.
Yes.
And we wanted to sort of like leave the band with the good memories and on a high.
Okay, yes.
And still on top, really. Yes. Rather than just staying together for the sake of staying together.
Yes, yes.
We'd done the TV shows, we'd done the documentaries, we'd done, the albums, we won the Brit Awards, and then we'd done the movie. So I think once we'd accomplished all those factors,
yes.
we just said, look, let's stop while things are still good.
I believe you have one son, is that right?
I do, yes. I have one teenage son. He's 14 now.
Oh, right, yes. Is he very into his music, or?
Do you know what? It's really weird. He wasn't really into music at all, but this has literally just happened, like in the last week. He's decided that he likes the piano, so he is playing around on the keys, which has made me very happy.
Yeah.
Because I'd love him to play an instrument, even if he doesn't want to ever do anything with it.
Yes.
I think it's just a really lovely thing just to know what to do, and it always comes in handy at Christmas.
Oh yes, it does. Yeah. It's,
do you know what? It's one of my biggest regrets was I never learned to play like an instrument. Yeah, I mean I can sort of like pick out tunes on the piano, but I'm definitely not a pianist. But I wish I'd have learned, because it's just a lovely thing to know.
In terms of songwriting, then, do you tend to, would the lyrics come first with you, or
lyrics? It all depends. It can happen in all different ways. I mean, sometimes I'll hear a piece of music and write to that. Sometimes I'll just think of something, randomly and just write it down.
Yeah.
It all depends. It depends on the style of the song and the way that I'm feeling at the time.
Yes.
So, it's quite hard. It's like I haven't got an actual structure of doing it. It sort of just does it itself.
Yes. Are your songs of sort of personal experiences, or they tend to be?
Yeah, most of them. I think it's, I think to write music, it's always got to come from somewhere, hasn't it?
Yes.
And it's usually within yourself. So I would say, the stuff that I write is always very personal to me.
Yes. And your latest album, you were saying you've had more chance to bring your songs to the album. Is that right? Than perhaps.
Yeah, which was so lovely.
Yes.
You know, so lovely, and it's so nice when I'm performing them.
Yes.
That people know the words to them.
Oh,
it just excites me so much.
Yes.
It's like it's a dream come true, really.
Actually, something a slight aside. I saw somebody had written something that said you should maybe be an Eastenders.
I get that a lot.
Are you from Romford?
I get that a lot.
Are you from Romford? Is that?
Yes, I am.
Yes, because that's getting towards the East End of London, isn't it? So the accent is quite similar.
I know, everyone says that. They always say that I sound like I should be on Eastenders. And do you know what? I'm actually putting on my posh voice for you today.
Oh, are you? We've done a quiz of 3 phrases, like an Eastenders sound test. So are you ready to have a go at these 3 phrases and see?
Absolutely. Go on then.
The first one is, uh-oh, here comes trouble. So whenever you're ready with that.
Oh, here comes trouble.
That was good, I like that, yes.
Thank you.
Right, the next one, imagine the scene, you're in a bar, you've met someone in the bar, and you're going to say to them, you're going to buy me a drink, ain't you, darling? So,
okay. You're going to buy me a drink, ain't you, darling?
Oh, that was good. Yeah, that's very good. Yeah, and
thank you.
The final one, you've got a lot of bottle. We're looking for the Eastenders drums, Joe, so whenever you're ready, let's do the last phrase.
You got a lot of bottle.
Yes, oh, that was great. Yes, I think you passed the...
Yeah, that one was very deep, wasn't it? I've got quite a deep voice.
I think you passed the...
Did I pass?
You passed the sound test for Eastenders there, I think, yes. Now, in terms of future shows, we mentioned a couple of dates you've got coming up in August. What about the rest of the year? Have you any plans to be touring again this side of Christmas?
There's lots and lots of things coming up in the future. Stuff that I can't actually talk about at the moment, but very exciting. Right. So it's definitely a case of watch this space.
Yes. And if you could have a venue to perform at that you've maybe not performed at yet, have you any venues that you think, oh, I'd love to do a show there?
Glastonbury.
Ah, okay, right.
Yeah, one day.
That'll be on your list of...
That's on my that's on my to-do list.
Yeah. Have you been there to watch other bands and things?
I haven't. No, I've never been. I've never ever been, but it's something I would just love to go to. I'd love to perform there.
Yes.
And it's definitely a bucket list of mine.
It was great to speak to you. Thanks for coming on the show today, Jo.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome, and we wish you the best with the show on Monday and also up and coming shows.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Hi, this is Jo O'Mara on Camden Town Radio. Keep rocking.